Hi guys, it's Nettie here from Nettie Gaming, and today I want to share with you my video on how I set up my Amiga system to use WHD Load Classic Workbench by installing it on an 8GB compact flash card. Now, I know that there are a couple of videos on this subject already. However, they are choppy in terms of what I wanted to achieve for my system. Specifically, I wanted to share with you my process from start to finish and the hardware that I have on my own 1200 to be able to play games. So what you will need before we start is a compact flash card. I've got an 8GB one here and an Amiga IDE to CF adapter, which will go in your Amiga. eBay and Google are your friend on these, so you can get them on eBay. That's where I got mine from, and it didn't cost very much money. And then you're also going to need a flash card reader for your PC as well. Now, to be able to play Classic Workbench and WHD Load games on the Amiga without crashing, I also installed an Amiga Classic accelerator that I bought for about 100 quid, something like that, on amigakit.co.uk. Now, I know to some this may seem like a lot of money, but to me it was worth every penny, as it sped up my system and it now means I no longer get the Turrican slowdowns and crashes. So if you are serious about putting this on your real Amiga, I think an accelerator is a must. Now, you could set this thing up to work on a PC through Win UAE emulation by creating a Workbench directory to your PC. However, today I want to show you exactly what I did with my Amiga and how I transferred Classic Workbench to a real A1200 with WHD Load installs and some goodies to play with it as well. I also took the liberty of buying for myself from Amiga Kit some new 3.1 Kickstart ROMs to update the old ones that were in the machine as well. Now, down in the description below, I've attached a link for downloading my starter pack. This little box of tricks contains all the goodies that we're going to need for the setup without fanning around with various websites. However, I will also attach some useful links for you all with the WHD Load site, Amiga Kit, and of course Aminet, where lots of the files are from. Now, bear in mind, the file is just over a gig, so it is worth it, and this should mean that you'll be able to get things up and running as I did, and I've got a little present in there for you as well. So, download from the description, and let's crack on. So the first things first, let's make sure that our flash card is cleaned correctly by removing any partition that currently exists. So let's go ahead and open up disk part and clean our drive. Now, we open up command prompt and then we write list disk, hit enter, and there we can see it shows the various disks that we have on the system currently. Okay, so looking at the disk, I want disk 2. This is the one that's about 8 gig. I want to add a real word of warning here, guys. Please don't be a pillock and select the wrong disk. I take absolutely no responsibility for you bricking your machine from not listening to me. So make sure that you've got the correct disk selected, and then if you write in select disk, in my case it's going to be 2, hit enter, and then we type clean. And now we can run detail disk to check, and as you can see now it states it's unusable, which means that Windows no longer can recognise it, and this is what we want. So we can now format on the Amiga system later on. So we can now exit our disk part and we can go ahead and set up Win UAE. So what we need to do is go into our Amiga setup folder that we've unzipped, go into Win UAE, right click on Win UAE, run as administrator. This is quite important because we need that to be able to access the flash card to do what we need to do with it. So this is the menu folder. If you click on paths, we just want to check that it knows where our system ROMs are. So that's what we do is click on this button here on the side. We go into our Amiga setup folder again, go into the Win UAE folder, and then it's the ROMs folder that we're needing. So if you select that, then it will scan and it will tell you those are the ROMs that it's found. So then you can OK out of there, and we can now go into chipset, select the CPU, select the emulation speed as fast as possible. This is just for the sake of the video. Chipset, we need to cycle exact full. Unticked, I don't think we need to do anything in there, no. So on ROMs, we just want to make sure that this is the ROM that we've got selected. If it's not, you can pick from the drop down list, or the button on the side, you can go into the ROMs folder and select that one to use. If we just want to up that to 8, and I think that might be everything that we need to do on here for this moment. So we'll now move on to the next step, which is adding our hard drive so we can partition it. Okay guys, so I'm just going back in and re-putting my flash card on. I realised it didn't pick it up before, so that's what it should look like. Generic flash card, and then I'll just put my directory back on, which was work. Make sure bootable is unticked and select my work directory. And I want to remember this time to tell you to put the Workbench floppy on at the ready. And then go back to your configuration, save what you've done. And we're now ready to start. Now yours may take a little longer because I've sped mine up to for the video, but don't worry if it does take a little while. But now what we want to do is just partition and show all and partition our files. So if we go into HD tools, and then we need to select the SFS file system first. So go into file system, go into add, click work, and then down to SFS. Smart, oh no, gone too far. Go back to work, SFS, smart file system, Amiga operating system 3, L, and then we want that. So if we click load, and then we want to change the DOS type here, guys, to SFS \0. Oh, get rid of the D as well. So it should read like that. Now don't forget to press enter when you do that, otherwise it won't save. So now that's ready to use, we can click use. And now we want to partition our drive. So if we add a partition and then edit, go in, make it about 1 gig in size. The first file partition can't really be any more than 4 gig, but you can put what you want. So DOS type's got to be SFS, again \0, and then the max transfer, sorry, don't forget to press enter on SFS, and then the max transfer that we want on this one needs to be, let me make sure I've got this right, 0x001, capital F, capital E, 00, hit enter, and then change the buffers to 100, hit enter, and then you should be ready to go. That should be ready to use now. So click use, and then we can make our second partition, so we'll add another, that fills the rest of the space. Edit, click through to SFS, that's the one, and then we want to put the max transfer again to the setting that we had on the other one. So it's 0x00, 1 FE, 00, and then hit enter, and then again that's got to be 100. And use, actually I don't know, have I hit enter through those? Let's just double check. Oh, maybe that's actually meant to be there then. 0 Just make sure I did. That's fine. And then that's ready to go now. So if you partition the drive, save changes to drive, and then it'll ask you to reboot, so you can do that now. And again, it may take a little bit of time to load up. Okay, and we're back. So that's that done now. Now we can move on to the next part. Yours may not be showing here yet, your two partitions, so don't worry about that just yet. What we need to do is a couple of things to get that to appear. So if we press F12 to come out, and then we delete and remove the two drives, press our configuration and save, and then if we quit out of here, go back into our Win UAE, again don't forget to run as administrator, click add your hard drive. Now you can see it comes up as a generic compact flash. That's the one we want. So if we select that, tick IDE, add our directory for our hard drive, which is work again. Don't forget to untick bootable. Select your path, so you go into your Amiga setup, your work folder, hit OK, and then when you start, that should then appear for you to be able to partition the first, format the first partition. Okay then, so what we need to do now then is partition our first, we need to format our first partition. So if we go into our Workbench folder, go into System, and then we want to open up the shell, Amiga shell, and then if you write in CD space work, colon, and then we want to type in our SFS smart file system. So we write no spaces with work, colon, SFS / smart file system, and then hit enter, and then SFS format drive, colon, space, no colon, sorry, DH0 colon, space, and then name, and you can name it whatever you like. I've put operating system, I'll put OS for mine, and then hit enter. This will then ask you press return to begin formatting, so do that again, hit enter, and that's it. That is now formatted, ready for us to put our classic Workbench onto the system. So you can come out of here. To get out of Win UAE and go back to the Win UAE menu, you can hit the F12, and that will bring back up your Win UAE menu to be able to do what you need to do. Right, so what we need to do now is remove the existing hard disks in the work folder, and we now want to add our hard file with classic Workbench on it, so we can get that set up and then moved over to the compact flash card. So if you go into hard file and then go into the directories, what we need to do is go into the Amiga folder again, classic Workbench, and then system. Then we want to make sure that our device name is DH0, and we want to, do you know what, I don't know whether that affects things or not, whether that's IDE or whether it's UAE, who knows. So yeah, so OK that, and then what we need to do, oh hang on a minute, what am I doing? Go back, F12, restart, and start that up. No, stupid me, I bet I've left the floppy disk in, I have. Right, take the floppy drive out, try it again, reset. Okay, now this is where I don't want you to kind of panic, because your screen should look like this. And this is because I've already set up Classic Workbench on the hard disk file so that you didn't have to take the time faffing about doing it. But this part of the video is to show you what I'm doing when I'm installing Classic Workbench, just so that you can see the process. If you want to skip past that, because like I say, I've already installed it, so you don't need to, but you can watch it if you're interested in knowing what the process is. Otherwise, skip forward to the time on the screen now, and then that will take you to the part with the Classic Workbench that will basically keep us up to date. So I'm going to shut up now and we'll rock out to some Amiga music while I install the Workbench. there we go guys, we should now be singing off the same hymn sheet, as it were. We should now have the exact same looking screen. So I've now got the classic Workbench set up. Now we need to transfer it to the card. Right, so now we need to clear and remove those drives again, so that needs to be blank. Then what we need to do is go into the put our hard drive back on. So if we go back into hard file, put system, hard file back on, put it as DH0, and OK that. Then what we need to do is add our hard drive again. This is the one with our compact flash card on it. So if we go down, select compact flash, add hard drive, and then we need to add our directory with our work folder in it again. So if we go work, and then work in volume label, untick bootable, again don't forget to do that, and then select the work directory from your Amiga setup folder again. Now when we press start on that, that should now load up absolutely everything. So we've got our system folder, but we've also got the CF card on here as well, with the operating system first partition and then the second partition there as well. So now what we need to do is move this system folder into the operating system. So if you run, click run, and then we want to open directory opus or dopus, and this will now help us transfer our files. So if you click DH0, this will bring up your system folder with the system file on it, and click across to here, and now we want to select our operating system. So where you click the S, if you right click it, this will bring up your device list, and then click operating system OS. Now as you can see, I've already installed it here, so sorry guys, I've forgotten to press record, so I'd actually already installed it. So all you need to do is click across onto the system part, select all, and then click copy, and then just OK it. But yours will take some time. I'm going to abort this one because, as I say, I've already done it, but it should take a while. When it's finished, go and have a cup of tea, and when it's finished, just exit out of there, and then that's it done. Transferred now over onto the flash card, so we no longer need that system file, which was the file that we used initially. So what we need to do is delete that, so we can remove those. Oh, actually I probably didn't need to delete all of those. What am I doing? Daft. Go back in. Sorry guys. So run yet. Okay, so go back in, load your configuration. Sorry about this folks, I'm having a stupid day. Click the hard drive. Okay, so put your hard drive on, which is your flash card, make sure it's IDE, add hard drive, and then add your work directory as well, because we're going to need to install the patch and another couple of bits on there as well. So untick bootable, okay, select your directory, and then OK it, and then we'll click start. Now as you can see now, you should just have your, whenever it's ready to load. Okay, so as you can see now, you should have your operating system folder, and this now is full of all this lovely stuff which we've transferred over from the system file for Classic Workbench, and you've got your second partition there. So what we need to do is go into the operating system, go into the C drive up the top left hand corner, and we need to put a file in here. So if you go into your work folder, and then what we need to do, so if you go into your installer 43-3, sorry, go into installer 43-3, and then this file here that you can see, this is what we need to move over into our C drive. So if you just click and drag it over. You may get an error just to say replace, yes replace. If not, that's absolutely fine. Then you can just exit out of this bit and we can then move on to installing the patch. So if we go back into work, go into NSD patch, click install, intermediate, just click through these, yes, yeah, okay, and then proceed, and then that should be it done now. So now we've done the patch, we're ready to move on to the next step. Right, so let's get on to formatting the second partition. What we want to do is open our operating system, OS, go into the system folder, and then we want to go into the Workbench, the shell, the Amiga shell. So you type in, again, cd space work, /sfs/smart file system, hit enter. And then what we want to do is sfs format space drive space dh1 colon and then name, and I'm going to call it games in this case. I can always change it later if I want to. Hit enter again, and then that's it, we're done. So that's our second partition ready to put all of our content and all our lovely stuff. So what we want to do now is install WHD Load. So if we go into our work folder, WHD Load, and then click install, follow it through, proceed, yes, and now we want to put it in C drive. So if you go to your operating system, click C, that's the one we want. So that's where it needs to be installed. So if you click proceed, just wait for that to go through, proceed, yeah, proceed, okay, and then proceed again. It may take a moment just to install that, so if we wait a second. Okay, so now that's completed, we can just proceed with that. And if we go back into our OS folder and we open up in system the shell, we can see that if we write in WHD Load, we can see now that that's been installed. And there's a bit of gumph in there to tell you all about it, how to use it and all that good stuff. So we can exit out of there. And now we want to make sure that they work correctly on your Amiga. So if we just go into the right click S, go into the work folder, and then what we want is the kickstarts that I've given you. We need to put these in the operating system. So again, right click on S, go into OS, and then click on devs. That's the one we want. And then click kickstarts. Now you can already see there are some in here, but we need to move these ones across. So if you select all, or click all, whichever, and then click copy, that will then copy those kickstarts, all. That will copy those into that file, and then that's us done with the installation of WHD Load. So you can quit out here, and now we can move over my present to you. So if we go back into directory Opus, and then click, what am I doing? Right, so if you right click S again, and then go into our work folder, you'll see present from Netty, and you've got some demos, games, music and programs. So if we click S again, go to our games folder, which is our second partition with the bulk of the space, we're now going to copy all these across. Now they are going to take some time, guys. I am going to skip through this part of it just so that you don't have to sit through it, but it will take a while. So go and have a cup of tea or two, because it will take a long time. But when that's pretty much installed, just wait a moment. Okay, so when that's installed, you can now exit out of here, and we're so close to the end now, guys, with just a few more bits to do. So what we need to do now is set up igame, but first of all I'm going to rename my folder. I'm just going to call it Nettie's folder because it's mine, and well, there's more than games in there, so that's why I'm just renaming it. So what we're going to do now is set up igame so that you can run that. So if you hit run and then click igame, this will open up the igame folder, and we're going to put some repositories on. So we'll just search. We need to go to our parent directory and again till we find our Nettie's folder. Then we've got our demos, games. We'll hit games and hit OK. We'll add those, and I think while we're at it we'll probably remove those A games and A demo discs because I don't need them. You can use them, there are folders that you can use, and then I think I want to add my demos as well. So if I go back up one, demos, and then OK it, and I've got my demos, add demos and games, and then what I need to do is scan for repositories. So that will scan. It will take a little while to do it. Again, I've cut the video, but now you can see all of our games and all of our demos are there ready for us to play. So there's WizKid, Cannon Fodder, Pinball Dreams. What do I want to play? Well, I've got no controller plugged in, so I think I'm just going to show you for the sake of the video that it works. Toki, Turrican, I can't think. Sport for choice. Rough and tumble, we'll go with that just to show you it working. So then we get a little pop-up from WHD Load. Print screen is the quit button that you need to get out of it and to go back to the menu. But as you can see now, it's loading. Fabulous. Winner, winner. Now, there's no sound on this, as you can tell, because I've obviously muted it so that I could record voiceover afterwards. But that's pretty much it. So what we need to do now is safely remove our hardware below, and then we can move it to the Amiga. So at the Amiga, I've plugged it in. I'll turn the Amiga on and wait for it to load up. I'm really sorry about the screen flicker, guys. I'm only going to show you for a minute just to show it working, and it's not just voodoo. There you go. So it's now on the system, and you should be able to go straight in. So if you click, well, you can right click, but you can right click to go into igame, or you can click the run button at the bottom, in the bottom left. So if you click run and then go across to WHD Load, click igame, that will bring you into the igame menu where all your games are loaded up. So like I say, you can go in there, and I'll go in rough and tumble again just to show you it working. Trying to play with one hand. Everything first. Show you see the controls work. There we go. and then we just follow what WHD Load says, print screen, takes you back to the main screen. And that is it, guys. So guys, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. If you did like it, please do leave a like, and if you do want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out. I think I will leave you here now with some music. So I'm going to go into my programs, and I've got Pro Tracker, which I've given you as well, and I think I will pick from my music folder. I think we'll sign out with Cannon Fodder. So once again, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll speak to you next time.
Never been so much fun. 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 Oh, to your brother, kill him with your gun, leave him lying in his uniform, lying in the sun. Never been so much fun.